Two-way, Tuesday, two-way, Tuesday, two-way, Tuesday, two-way, Tuesday, and the crowd goes wild. I know everybody is super excited. You missed me for a couple of weeks, but we are back. Happy New Year. It is January 7th. It's actually the 6th. I'm going to make it a point to get these out earlier to you guys, but again, Happy New Year and happy birthday. We've got two birthdays on the agenda this week. Byron was actually last week, and Arlette is coming up this Friday. They both turned 30, so they might be a little touchy about it, but happy birthday to both of those guys. We are going to be celebrating them next week on our Two-Way Tuesday. I put on your calendars, blocked off some capacity. We're going to have our Two-Way Tuesday here. One to celebrate their birthdays and to go over some engagement survey stuff. So you will get to see them shortly. So happy birthday to both of them. What do we got on the agenda today? First and foremost, I hope everyone had a fantastic holiday or holidays. I know that was stressful for the few that did work, and I genuinely appreciate everybody's flexibility. I know Byron came in a couple of days that he was actually scheduled off, which helped out a ton. Coop, I know, was very flexible. There was one day in particular that I complimented him on that, just because it's not always easy when you've got to drive from way west to way east in the same day, but it's a necessary evil when we afford people the time off that you guys have absolutely deserved and deserve to take. So I'm hopeful that everybody that took some time off enjoyed that time off, and that those that worked still have some of their sanity left. So thank you to everybody involved that helped us get through that the holidays. Local news, events. What do we got going on? Oh, I do have a couple things. One thing that we are going to go over next week when you're up here is going to be the supply sheet. Diego started this before he left, but we've kind of finalized it, of all of the supplies that you should have on your van that AAA supplies. This is everything including part numbers, where we order it from, which is going to be helpful for you because I want you to have a live copy of this, so that you know exactly what you're responsible for. So if I say, hey, just use your rear view mirror, adhesive kit to glue a rear view mirror on, you don't say, well, I don't have one of those. I'm telling you, hey, this is what you're supposed to have on your van. This is what you're responsible for. Make sure you have it and let us know if you don't. So that is the supply list. Surveys. Do I think we will eventually get to electronic surveys? I do. The transition is nowhere near as easy as I had hoped. That being said, we are going back to these surveys for the time being in the new year. I'm going to look for some creative ways to make sure that we get more feedback from our customers, so more of these surveys back. But effective right now, I do want to start giving these surveys back out so that we get some form of feedback. And I think a lot of you have been, but I want to make sure that it's the correct format. There's little identifiers here on the one side with a letter. Make sure that you have the right letter, and I'll send those out to the team as well, just to make sure. But we want to get these surveys back out to everybody. Let's see what else I got going on. This is a deposit book. You should all have a deposit book. It's very, very rare that you would get a check, but we want to make sure that we afford you the opportunity to get that deposited as quickly as possible. We've made some changes to the way that we invoice, which is absolutely a positive, but it means more work on the office. So I won't bore you with the details, but what you do need to know is, let's say it's the end of a payroll cycle, and remember our commission runs from Friday to Thursday. When we close the day on that Thursday, that's it. It's closed. I have no way to get you additional commission paid if you've got orders with checks on them. So that's why it's important to bring this full circle back, that you get checks deposited really same day. So I need to get you a deposit book. If you don't have one, let me know. That's the one qualifier that you should text the group this week, is whether or not you have a deposit book. But it is your responsibility to get that stuff deposited really same day. Remember too that we do not accept cash. Cash is a thing of the past as far as AAA is concerned. We need to make sure that we are, if they write us a check, we get it input into the bank. Cool. What else we got going on? Key messages. There's a video on the hub if you want to take a look at that. Welcome to 2020. It goes over some of our 2020 goals. Speaking of goals, the performance review period is starting to kind of draw to a close, and it's important. We've been talking about it throughout the year, but I want to be very clear on what your specific goals are, and they are what? 1, above a 4.0 productivity. I'm going to give you a pass this year because of these surveys that we didn't really hand them out the full year, but there is a KPI regarding the surveys, and really everybody should be above, I would say, a 95% from the numbers that I've seen, which is really, really high, but we've done really, really well with them. So productivity, surveys, and warranties under a 3%. So it should be no surprise when we start to write these performance reviews and how you're performing. If you don't know how you're performing, let me know. I would be a little ashamed of that, but certainly I want to make sure we're on the same page with how you're performing. So that's coming up, the annual review process. You have until January 10th to complete your self-evaluation, and at that point, I'll need to go in and actually do the manager evaluation, taking into consideration the feedback that you leave on your self-evaluation. Real quick too, there are some changes to the PTO or the paid time off policy in 2020. I don't think it will affect many of us because we have some tenure but not a ton. Beginning February 1st, team members' PTO cap levels, so the amount of time you are allowed to accumulate, will change. There are no changes to the amount of PTO that you accrue, the time off that you earn each pay period. To see the new PTO cap levels, search for PTO on the hub. So if that's something you're curious about, but I don't think anybody's anywhere near capping because we give a ton here. So that is it. Welcome to 2020. I look forward to working with you, and thank you again for everybody's patience this holiday season. So thanks, and I will see you here next week at 7:30 a.m. sharp. See ya.